Welcome to the Common Man Football Show. My name is James Coburn, and today's episode, we're talking about the Philadelphia Eagles 2018 NFL Draft Class based on analytics. And in this video, we're going to go over every single player selected by the Philadelphia Eagles based on production and athleticism data. If you're new to the channel and new to the work that I do, all terms and definitions will be in the description. So if you're not familiar with what market share data is, if you're not familiar with athleticism data, the explosive lower body strength score, the speed score, the flexibility score, and all those other things I usually talk about on this channel, you can go there and get information there. You can also watch previous videos as well to get more familiar with a lot of the data work that I do. The basics of it is simply this. I tracked what other players in past draft classes typically performed based on various data points, and all I'm trying to see is where do the players in this draft class match up to the players that performed in the past based on various different types of data points. With all that stuff out of the way, let's get to the first pick of the draft, which of course is Dallas Goedert, tight end out of South Dakota State. Based on his athleticism traits, he had an 83.58 explosive lower body strength score. Did not do the 4-yard dash, did not do the short shell and 3-cone, so we can't really determine what his flexibility testing is 100%. But definitely good explosiveness. Based on his production data, he was very, very productive at his level of competition, but the data I use for my models is FBS tight end data, so it wouldn't be very good to kind of cross the streams, if you will. I don't have a large enough sample for FCS tight ends to kind of make a projection model with that yet, but that is something I'm working on. But for right now, all we really have to go on is athleticism data, and Goedert does have good explosiveness. So the real question mark here is just how fast is he really, how flexible is he. I think best case scenario, you have a long-term starter here, just based on the fact that he has really good explosion score, but we'll see what ultimately happens with him. But definitely, you know, not a terrible profile, but definitely someone who lacks a lot of information because of his level of competition and because you didn't do a lot of stuff during the draft process. Then of course you get to Avanti Maddox, cornerback out of Pittsburgh. When you get to his production data, 67.29 in terms of solo tackle data and 70.67 in terms of pass deflection data. Pretty much hits really close to the Pro Bowl average in terms of solo tackle data, and definitely hits the Pro Bowl average in terms of pass deflection data, which is fantastic because he has Pro Bowl level athleticism traits, 67.72 in terms of explosiveness, 83.60 in terms of speed, and 98.09 in terms of flexibility for his size. He's by far one of the most underrated cornerbacks in this draft class. Doesn't have elite size, but again, does have very good production and very excellent athleticism traits. I think when it comes to Avanti Maddox, you have a guy who at worst is going to become a long-term starter, and at best can be a multiple Pro Bowl type in the right system, in the right scheme, if he gets a chance to start. Then of course you get to Josh Sweat, edge out of Florida State. When you get to his production data, he had an 86.82 solo tackle score, 61.95 sack score, and 72.17 tackle for loss score. When you look at his overall production, he looks more like a Pro Bowl player than an All-Pro player when you look at it collectively, but has very good athleticism traits. He's by far the best testing edge rusher in this class. In terms of athleticism, 85.40 in terms of explosiveness, 92.13 in terms of speed, and 90.57 in terms of flexibility for his size. Josh Sweat, in many ways, was a top 5 edge rusher in this draft class, with the most upside of any edge rusher in this draft class based on athleticism traits. And I think this is a perfect spot for him, and especially a team like the Eagles, who did lose a couple edge rushers, you know, like Vinny Curry, etc. So I do think this is a good pick to bring in a guy who doesn't have to be the guy, just be a rotational player, and eventually can become the guy because of just how athletic he is. And of course we get to Matt Pryor, offensive tackle out of TCU. Based on his athleticism traits, he had a 20.32 explosive lower body strength score, 8.70 speed score, and a 29.86 flexibility score. Doesn't quite hit All-Pro potential or Pro Bowl potential, but does hit at least above the starter thresholds, except for speed score. There's never been a long-term starting offensive tackle with less than a 10.31 speed score since 1999. So that's the only major sort of question mark with him. And when you look at the averages at the position, woefully below what the average All-Pro score is, Pro Bowl score, and starter score. So Pryor is one of the first players in this draft class where there isn't a lot of success in terms of his profile. And then the last player to look at for the Eagles is Jordan Mailata. He's basically, I mean, I guess they're listing him at offensive tackle. He's basically a Rutgers player, former Rutgers player, who they're bringing in to see what he brings to the table. I don't really have any athleticism testing for him. That's at least confirmed on NFLDraftScout.com. But he's big, so there's definitely that kind of stuff to think about with him. But other than that, that was the Eagles draft class. Not a lot of picks, but I do think they got some pretty good quality in terms of the first 3 picks. I think Dallas Goedert has a chance to become a long-term starting tight end. Avanti Maddox has a chance to become a Pro Bowl cornerback. Josh Sweat has a chance to be a Pro Bowl edge rusher. Matt Pryor, it's a question mark. The rugby player, it's a question mark just because he's from another country and he's learning a new sport. We've heard this story a lot. I mean, there's been a lot of players that we've heard the story about, so we'll have to see what happens with them. But bottom line, though, not a terrible draft. I do think they got a lot of quality in this draft class instead of quantity, but definitely a couple question mark picks in terms of Matt Pryor. So let me know in the comment section below, how do you believe the Philadelphia Eagles did in terms of their draft class? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Of course, my name is James Coburn. You can find my other work at draftcoburn.wordpress.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at Geometrics. And if you like this content and you want more content like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Share this video as well with anybody that you know. Hit that notification button so you're always reminded when another video of mine drops. And I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace!